Welcome to the art room with Miss Hallowell, and this is our lesson today. It's shading. So we're going to learn about shading. A lot of people wanted to learn sketching this year, so I thought we'd start with shading. Today you're going to need grey lead pencil. I've got a 2B grey lead pencil, but a HB is actually fine. If you've got a pencil sharpener and an eraser, that would be helpful. I would recommend that you have something circular to draw around, sort of no bigger than a piece of tape. Definitely want a clean tissue if you can get one, because tissue is better than finger. And you need a piece of paper. I have actually got a spare sketch pad, but you just need a piece of paper. So we're going to start with our shading scale. And we're going to start by, we're going to draw six boxes on our piece of paper at the top, just to have a practice. So this first box on our shading scale, scale is an element of art. We're going to try and make the darkest, most shadowest, most blackest square that we can make just using our grey lead. It's not black, but it's the darkest that we can get. So I'm pushing down really quite hard on this square, and I'm going over it a few times as well, so there's no white. So this will be the darkest square on our shading scale. So we're going to be calling this number 1, the darkest one. So going over it quite a few times, making sure there's no white parts. You don't need a ruler, you can just draw freehand another square next to it. So I'm still pushing down quite hard with the grey lead, and I'm going to colour this square in, but I want it to be slightly lighter than the first one. So I don't want any white, going to go over that a few times. It doesn't show up brilliantly on the camera, but it just about is the next shade up. We're going to call this shade 2, so this is where we start to look at the greys. Doesn't matter if you go out of the box like me. It's just a practice area at the top here. So 1 is black, and then 2 we're starting to go into grey, so we'd call this our darkest grey. So I'm going to try and fit 6 boxes across the top of the page for practice. Alright, the next box is number 3. This is going to be a medium grey. So I'm not pressing as hard as I did before. So I get a slightly lighter grey than the second box. Again, trying to fill up the space. If you want to, you can hold your pencil higher up and try and kind of use the side of the tip of the pencil. Alright, box 4, I'm going to draw that really lightly because I don't necessarily want to see the box. This is where I'm going to be shading quite lightly. I'm not putting any pressure on the paper, just shading really, really gently to fill the box. And you'll see that your pencil can make all of these different shades. So you can see the difference there. Box number 1 is going to be the lightest, and it's going to be white. So we've gone from black to white with grey in the middle. It's not a great idea to use your finger to blend this, but if you use a tissue, that's actually a much better way of doing it. A HB pencil will blend with a tissue. Sometimes your boxes tend to get much smaller as you go. So that's my scale at the top. I've got a shading scale from dark to light, or black to white. You can blend between the boxes using the tissue so that they kind of blend from dark all the way up to light. So when you've done that, you can draw around your circular object to start our 3D circle, our sphere. It's about the size of tape. I'm going to use this tape to create like a crescent moon, and I'm going to colour the first part really dark. I'm going to go with the dark black colour that we used in the first box. Now I've sped this up, so if you are having trouble keeping up with me, it's because it's on a very fast speed. So I'm trying to match number 1, I'm trying to go over it, so I might have to go over it 2 or 3 times to make it the blackest and the darkest that I can make. So there's a crescent moon. So pushing down quite hard to get it quite dark. Alright, the next crescent that we're going to be doing will be the second dark. The second dark is boxed there, so that's the darkest grey. We've gone from black to dark grey. So again, maybe go over it a few times. You don't really want there to be an obvious line between colour 1 and colour 2. So I'm going to blend that with the tissue. Alright, the next crescent is going to be box 3. Remember, I used my pencil on the side, I held it a little bit higher up, and I didn't put very much pressure on it at all. I'm going to try and make one more, which is box 2, so quite light, and then a white one. Alright, so that's our sphere coloured in. Now we've got to go over all of those joins, all of the edges. You want to be shading around the edges. You can use that tissue again to blend your pencil together. You can use your eraser to make number 1 the box of white. Going round the edge and keep blending with the tissue. So as you're trying to erase the lines and make that blend look more natural, if you smudge around the edge, you can just erase it. It's not something you colour in once, you sort of go over it again and again. The idea is that the sunlight is up in this corner, and that's why I've got box number 1 as close, because the light source will be coming from here, directly landing on the ball. You can have your light coming from whichever direction you want. If you want to, you could then do a bit of a shadow under the ball, because obviously the light is above it and up to the right hand side, so you could shade a shadow. Again, maybe just using the side of your pencil really carefully. And that's going to give the whole sphere a 3D kind of image. You can draw a line through it to say that it's on a table or on a surface, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to shade a little bit underneath so you get the idea that this is a 3D ball. So you can have a go at shading just using a regular pencil. Try and get all those different colours from one pencil. We've just done 5 shades. You can do more if you want to, but I've gone for black, white and 3 greys in the middle. Don't forget that a tissue is the best bet, rather than just using your finger. If you feel like it, you could go ahead and make other value scales. If you didn't have a grey lead and you were just using a texter, you might want to do things like cross hatching or hatching. Hatching is just straight diagonal lines. Cross hatching, they cross over. You can scribble, and you can scribble just a little bit, and then you can scribble a lot, and you can get lots of different values using a texter by doing different things like that. If you wanted to, you could draw something like an eye, because the iris has got lots of lines going along and lots of shading practice. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.